Hello, welcome to another video from the LPM Finance channel. I'm Leonardo Palma, and today we'll address another fundamental topic for anyone who wants to build a solid foundation for their financial journey: household budget and how to start organizing it effectively. Budgeting is often seen as something restrictive, a kind of financial diet that limits our freedom. But the truth is exactly the opposite. A well-structured budget is a tool for freedom, allowing us to direct our financial resources toward what really matters in our lives, eliminating waste and creating space for building wealth. In the next few minutes, I will share with you practical and realistic approach and to creating and implementing an effective household budget, even if you never tried to organize your finances before. We will transform this process, which many consider tedious, into something simple and even rewarding. Before we get into the practical aspects of budgeting, it's important to understand what it really is and what it isn't. A budget is not a straitjacket that eliminates all pleasure and spontaneity from your financial life. It's also not a moral judgment about your consumption habits or a punishment from past choices. A budget is essentially a plan for your money. It's a tool that translates your values and priorities into concrete decisions about how to allocate your financial resources. When well implemented, a budget not only helps avoid debt and build wealth, but also significantly reduces financial stress and family conflicts related to money. In the previdentiary philosophy that we follow here on our channel, budgeting plays a fundamental role. It's the mechanism that enables the first principle we discussed in the previous video, living below your means. Without clear budget, it's practically impossible to consistently maintain a healthy savings rate, which is the raw material for building your financial freedom. There are various budgeting methodologies, each with its advantages and disadvantages. I represent an approach that I consider particularly effective for beginners, but feel free to adapt it to your reality and personal preference. The first step to creating an effective budget is knowing your current situation. As I mentioned in the last video, you need to track all your expenses for at least 30 days. Without this basic knowledge, any budget you create will be based on assumptions, not real data. There are several ways to track your expenses: personal finance apps, spreadsheets, physical notebooks, or even separate envelopes for different expense categories. The specific method is less important than consistency. So choose an approach that you can maintain, can follow daily. During this tracking period, don't try to change your consumption habits. The goal in this phase is to observe and record, not judge or modify. You want, at this step, an honest picture of your current financial reality, not an idealized version. After this initial tracking period, the second step is to categorize and analyze your expenses. I recommend dividing your expenses into broad categories such as housing, and you can put rent, mortgage, condo fees, property taxes, maintenance, also another category food like groceries, eating out, etc. Transportation, fuel, public transport, vehicle maintenance, parking. Another one, health, so health insurance, medications. Uh, you have another one like education. You can track your tuition, courses, school supplies. Another one, leisure and entertainment, streaming, outings, hobbies, also clothes and personal cares, debts and financing, various insurance, saving, and investments. Within each broad category, you can create more specific subcategories as needed. For example, within leisure and entertainment, you might have subcategories like digital subscriptions or restaurants and travel. When analyzing your categorized expenses, look to identify patterns and opportunities for optimization. Are there categories where you're spending significantly more than you imagine? Are there expenses that bring little real value to your life? So, are there duplicated or underutilized services that you continue to pay for? This analysis should not be an exercise in self punishment, but rather self knowledge. The goal is to identify where your money is really going and whether this allocation reflects your true value and priorities. The third step is to establish goals for each expense category. Here, many people make the mistake of creating an excessively restricted budget, drastically cutting spending in categories that bring genuine satisfaction. This usually leads to abandoning the budget after a few weeks in a pattern similar to radical diets that no one can maintain for a long time. A more sustainable approach is to make gradual adjustments, starting with categories where there is an obvious waste or spending that doesn't add real value to your life. For example, if you have identified that you are paying for several streaming subscriptions that you rarely use, you might start by canceling some of them. For essential categories like housing, food, and transportation, which generally represent the largest part of the family budget, look for optimizations that don't significantly compromise your quality of life. So, small adjustments in these large categories often have more impact than drastic cuts in smaller categories. A fundamental principle in our philosophy is pay yourself first. This means that the savings and investments category should be treated as an essential expense, not something you do only if there is money left at the end of the month. I recommend establishing an initial goal of at least 10% of your gross income for this category, gradually increasing as your financial situation allows. The fourth step is to choose a budgeting method that works for you. There are several popular methodologies, each with its particularities. The 50, 30, and 20 method suggests allocating 50% of your income to basic needs, 30 to wants, and 20 to savings and debt repayment. It's simple and flexible idea for beginners. Another methodology is the envelope-based budget involves physically separating money into envelopes for different expense categories. When the envelope for this category is empty, you stop spending in that area until the next month. This method is particularly effective for those who have difficulty controlling credit card spending. Another one, the zero-based budget requires you to assign a function to every dollar of your income. So that income minus expenses, including savings and investment, is exactly zero. This method is more labor intensive but provides maximum control over your finances. The reverse budget method simplifies the process by focusing only on a few categories, key categories that you want to actively control, such as eating out or entertainment. The other expenses are treated as fixed or automated. There is no perfect method. The best one is the one you will be able to implement consistently. Many people end up creating hybrid approaches, combining elements from different methodologies according to their specific needs. The fifth step, and perhaps the most important, is to implement and continuously adjust your budget. A budget is not a static document that you create once and rigidly follow forever. It's a living tool that evolves as your financial situation goes and priority changes. So in the first few months, it's normal to have significant discrepancies between the planned budget and actual spending. You use these differences as learning opportunities, not as a reason to give up. Adjust your goals for categories that proved unrealistic and celebrate the areas where you managed to meet or exceed your goals. Remember that unforeseen events happen. A car's breakdown, household appliance fail, medical emergencies arise. A realistic budget should include a category for unexpected expenses in addition to your formal emergency reserve. Now that you have understand the fundamental principles of householding budgeting, let's transform this knowledge into concrete actions. Here is a step-by-step plan to implement your budget over the next 2 months. First week, start tracking all your expenses daily. Choose a method that's convenient for you. An app like Organize, Mobilins, a simple spreadsheet, or even a dedicated notebook. The important thing is to record each expense, no matter how small, along with the corresponding category. From the second to the fourth week, continue tracking your expenses, developing the habit of immediately recording each transaction. At the end of this period, you have enough data from an initial analysis. In the fifth week, set aside a few hours to analyze your expenses from the first month. Categorize all expenses and calculate the total by category. Compare these values with your monthly income and identify areas of opportunity for optimization. In the sixth week, create your first formal budget, establishing realistic goals for each expense category. Remember to include savings and investments as a priority category, not an optional one. Choose a budgeting method that seems suitable for your lifestyle and personality. In the last 2 weeks, the seventh and the eighth, implement your budget, continuing to track all expenses daily. Regularly compare your actual spending with established goals and make adjustments as needed. In the end of these 60 days or 2 months, you have not only a functional budget, but will also have developed the habit of financial awareness, one of the most valuable skills in the journey toward financial freedom. Some additional practical tips to make your budget more effective. Automate as much as possible. Set up automatic transfers to your investment account on the day you receive your salary before you have the chance to spend that money. Use technology to your advantage. There are excellent budgeting apps that sync with your bank accounts and credit cards, automatically categorizing most transactions. Involve your family in the process. If you share expenses with the spouse or other family members, it's very important that everyone is aligned with the goal and or these goals and actively participates in the budget. Create a reward system to maintain motivation. For example, if you manage to stay under budget in a specific category, allows yourself to use part of the savings on something you value. Review uh, um, your budget monthly for the first 6 months and then quarterly. These regular reviews allows for fine adjustments and adaptations to change in your financial life. So the household budget is much more than a simple spreadsheet of income and expenses. It's concrete declaration of your values and priorities. When properly implemented, it becomes a powerful tool for financial transformation, creating the necessary space for you to consistently invest and build your journey toward financial freedom. Remember that the ultimate goal is not simply to spend less, but to spend better, directing your resources toward what really matters in your life and eliminating waste and doesn't add real value. In the next video, we will explore more these practical tools for financial control, deepening some of the concepts we discussed today and presenting a specific resource that can facilitate your financial organization. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now and activate notifications so you don't miss any content. Share this video with friends and family who might also benefit from this knowledge. And remember, for less than $1 a day, or euro a day, or real a day, you can be part of our exclusive community with access to in-depth content, specialized library, and direct interaction with me. The link is in the video description. Also, we have our social medias here. And thanks so much for your attention, your time, and see you in the next video.